Peace and blessings, and welcome to another episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy and credit repair world. If you're looking to open up your wallet to receive money instead of always paying out debts, fixing your credit can be an aid to bringing more income and more money into your house. Please, if you're looking to change your credit, contact Transparent Credit Repair at www.transparentcreditrepair.com, or you can call them at 862-250-5122. And make sure you tell them Heritage Hip Hop sent you, and you get something very special out of that referral. On this episode, we go to Long Island, New York to talk to Scotty Mac, an MC that overcame societal differences of opinion about himself to show you who he truly is and why his music is not only crafted mastery of wordplay, but it has a message in it to inspire all who not only loves the art of hip-hop, but loves the underdog and likes to see them rise. Make sure you stay tuned to this episode, and I'll come back with the rest of my commentary when it's done.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. And I'm here with an MC that not only overcame your prejudice, he overcame his ability to produce for you. Introduce yourself to the people, please.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Scotty Mac, a.k.a. Mr. SCO-T-Y Mac, a rapper, MC, live performer from Long Island, New York. What's happening?
Hey, man, I'm at peace right now, and I'm happy to get to talk to you because your story really interests me. And before we get into it, shout out to Strong Island. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that out there first, because Long Island has a rich hip-hop history. Tell me, how does the history of Long Island hip-hop influence you today?
Oh, man, the history of Long Island hip-hop has got to be one of, if not the biggest influence on me. You know, we have people from the great, who I believe one of the greatest MCs to put together around Rakim being from Long Island. And then you got somebody who's an incredibly, political and very big and pro-black as far as statement is concerned, and Chuck D being from Long Island. So, when you mention those two names alone, it's like you're from an area that's among some of the royalty of hip hop. You can't even fathom the amount of influence that just those two alone could have had on me and just anybody else in the game on Long Island. But I'll tell you right now, man, Long Island is rich history, like you said, and more importantly, it's just a place where there's so much talent and so much history that's ingrained in hip-hop. To me, it's a little bit crazy how sometimes in a lot of ways, because of the bigger areas in New York, specifically the 5 boroughs, how Long Island kind of gets a little bit left behind. But you know what? I'm here to keep bringing Long Island to the forefront, man. That's my goal.
That's what I'm talking about, because even, let's not forget EPMD, you know what I'm saying? Let's not forget Method Man as well. So, I mean, like, when we talk about Long Island, people who really love hip-hop, or even people who don't know, we're trying to tell you today that when you come from a place with an extensive hip-hop history, there's a lot of pressure when it comes to making sure you keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Is that factual?
Absolutely 100% factual.
And I like the fact that when it comes to your story, you don't have the easy story of just hip-hop. Like, yeah, one day I just listened to hip-hop, this is what I wanted to do. No, you grind it into find your sound. Tell people, how did you find your sound and give to the art instead of just doing it just because?
Well, like you said, I'd like to think that my story is very unique. Growing up, I was born completely deaf in my left ear. So there was being born with a disability, to be honest with you, that can, for a lot of people, hinder your ability to succeed, and can also hinder your ability to feel like your dream can come true. And I decided that I wasn't going to let either one of those things happen. So, being part of having a disability that literally affects a lot of people, but in my condition, it affects 1 out of every 300,000 people. Mm-hmm. I decided that, as I like to say, I didn't let my disability to become my disability. I acknowledged the fact that I had it, but I wasn't going to allow it to deter me from what it is I really wanted to do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, I was able to do a whole bunch of stuff right off the bat. As a matter of fact, becoming an MC wasn't something I really started to think about until I was maybe around age 15 when I was in high school. Like, okay. I knew I could do it, but I really thought that it was something I could do a lot better if I just kind of listened at home and tried to hone in on what I could do. And I listened to a lot of stuff with the greats. Of course, I listened to people from Long Island like Rock Camp, EPMD, Chuck D, because my mom was a big Public Enemy fan, but she was younger.
Right.
So, and matter of fact, funny quick story. When I was a baby, my mom actually ran into Chuck D in the mall, just randomly. Nobody else knew who he was except my mom. I thought that was pretty funny when my mom told me that. So I decided at age 15 I wanted to do it, and part of the reason for that also because my mom is a published author, and so writing was something that she loved to do, and it was in her blood. So if it was in her blood, guess what? It was in mine too. So but I took a different route. I wanted to write, and I started out being poetic. After being poetic, I said, let me put some music behind this, see what I like to do, and then I'm putting beats from my favorite rappers like Nas and Method Man, the Wu-Tang Clan, just you name Jay-Z, you name it, I put beats behind it. And then I started to think about how I was going to be able to do this, but I literally only had one ear. So, being that I'm also a classically trained drummer, what I focused on was just being able to catch the rhythm first. If I could catch the rhythm with my one good ear, everything else was going to be good for me. So when I was playing in concert band and marching band, whenever I would get stuck on something, I would literally just tap and try to feel the vibration of the beat in my body so that when I caught the beat, I could easily remember it through this thing called muscle memory. So eventually, when I was really starting to catch my flow, I started going, just kept writing. And I graduated from high school, went to college, and for 4 years in college, I filled up, I can't tell you how many notebooks full of rhymes. Like, it's like when I wasn't working on my education, I was writing rhymes. Like, that's what I was doing. When I graduated, I thought, all right, I think I've got enough knowledge now where I can try to start taking this a bit more serious. And then eventually I worked, saved up my money, invested in myself, and put some studio recording equipment in the basement of my house. And now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know what mix and mastering was. I didn't know what engineering was. I didn't know none of that. I just knew beat, rhyme, microphone, do your thing. And I ended up recording a mixtape, and when I finished my mixtape, I put it out, and a local promoter caught wind of it, and I guess you can say the rest is history, because here I am, talking to you right now, so.
And it all matches up, and that's a beautiful story, because, well, let's really take it back to what you said that really, really hits the heart. And what it is that you said that you were born with a physical disability. My belief of that is, though it may be a physical disability, it shows me that you appreciate the art in such a way that other people take for granted, and that's beat and feeling. You agree?
Right, absolutely, yes. Absolutely right.
Go ahead.
Because, the essence of hip-hop back in the day when it first came up was about the breaks and the beat. So,
that's right.
So that's how hip hop was born. So I realized that if I'm going to do this and do it well, I have to catch that break and the musicality of it. I have to embrace that book, and that's what I embraced.
I love it. Cause I mean that makes you. I'm a comic book head too, so
shout out to that. So am I.
All right, so shout out to Netflix, because what you described to me is how Daredevil sees sound, vibration, bass. That gave him the template of what was the area around him, so he could see the energy or feel the spirit of things around him. And
Right.
music gives you the spirit of the world, the emotion, and the feeling of not only the room, but the climate in that you're in. What type of feeling do you want people to get that they feel within themselves and they hear within your music when they hear your music?
You know, I've always had, now I'm not going to say it a lie. Again, everybody has people that, you know, that are very critical of their music, myself included. So, you know, and when it comes down to my music, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'm not going to lie about that. But I will say that when other people listen to my music, the first thing that they think about is they realize that my flow is without doubt on par. The first thing they notice is my flow. They know that without even knowing my story, because the point is, I should say, one of the things that I had to catch was my flow, because being someone that was born with a physical disability and not being able to hear in one ear, you would think that I would be offbeat or anything. No, because I ended up in the beginning studying how to catch the rhythm and the beat and the musicality. That was something that being a drummer helped me do. So when it came time to me going into learning how to rhyme, when people listen to my music, one of the first things they love commenting on is my flow. They say, your flow is impeccable. Like,
Okay.
there is not one beat that I've rapped on that anybody can say I was off on, because I spend a lot of time listening to a beat and really making sure that I can catch the rhythm before I even put a word into a microphone. So the first thing they tell me is my flow is impeccable. The second thing that people will talk about in my music that's positive is that lyrically, I say a lot of stuff lyrically that unless you're someone that really pays attention to lyrics, a lot of stuff I say can go over your head. But I'm one of those people that believes that it's not just having dope punchlines, because you could have amazing punchlines. I know some MCs that have incredible punchlines, like the type of rhyme that make you go, "Oh, did he really say that?" You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I like to be able to have bars that go over your head, that make you think about it and try to make you wonder where I came up with that. You know, so a lot of people, and I've actually been told by several people, Scotty, you are an underrated barsonist. So, like, I've been called a barsonist once before. So lyrically, you're underrated, because the rhyme scheme, the way you rhyme and the things that you say, as someone who listens to the lyrics, I have to give you major props for the way you craft things. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes even when I listen back to my songs, I go, did I really say that? Did I write that? It's crazy, because sometimes I surprise myself with what I can say. And I'm the one that wrote it. So they say my bars are always on point. My flow is impeccable. They love my beat selection, because I don't just take any old beat and just rhyme on it. You know, because everybody has their cup of tea. Everybody has their thing that they just do well. One thing I can say about myself is that I'm very eclectic when it comes down to what I do, and when it comes down to songs, because I don't want to be put in a box of, you know, I'm only able to rap over a specific type of beat. You know, I only can do a specific type of track. I'm very happy and blessed to say I can go and do several types of tracks and not feel like I'm out of place. You know, you ever listen to a hip hop song and you hear a rapper on the song, and the first thing you say is, I don't know if this was the right track for that guy.
Yep, a lot of times. Yes.
I've never been told that that I felt I was out of place on any song I've done. Because the thing about me is that I adapt. I adapt. I'm like a, what they call, sometimes one person when I was performing with, they heard a bunch of different things in my music and they said, Scotty Mac, you're like a chameleon. You can blend into any specific surface or area and never feel like you're out of place. So I've been told that once or twice. I had to, and I'm not gonna lie, I had to think about that because I'm like, I've never been called a chameleon before. But that's how a lot of people kind of feel about who I am. And you know what? It's great to hear those types of things. And then of course, you have people who are going to be overly critical, but that's because they're kind of those types of people that are maybe, I guess you could say, hard to impress. You have to really put an impression upon them. But I'm also somebody that takes constructive criticism really, really well. So that's
very important to grow. That's very important to grow. Constructive criticism, especially when it's not given to you by a hater. See, that's the thing that's really hard for a lot of people to decipher, because when you're in the industry or the business of making music, you're making something to show or spread your joy to people. And your joy does not make everybody happy. So getting through the hate and getting through the acknowledgement takes a certain discernment. That brings me to a song that you made called Clap Back. Did you experience some hate, and is that why you made that song?
I love that you brought that up, because absolutely, when I did Clap Back, I did experience a little bit of hate, and I decided I normally am not someone who gives into that type of thing. But the problem for me was that I felt in that moment I had to say something, because I didn't want someone to tell me or make me feel as if they could say what they wanted to say, and then I wasn't going to respond simply because that wasn't something I normally did. But that's also the reason why I did respond, because it was something I don't normally do. I had to step out of my comfort zone. So, because my comfort zone was just, whoever haters can say what they're going to say, I'm not going to allow that to deter me. But in that moment, I felt as if I didn't say something, I was going to be seen as if someone that I just didn't, I was going to just allow somebody to walk all over me. And I'm not someone that believes in that. Like, I don't want anybody to feel like I'm this soft person that can be just walked over and stepped on. Now, I did it that once, and I told myself, I don't feel like I need to do it again. Now, unless you call me out directly, I'm not going to do it again. Now, if someone has a problem with that, okay, that's your problem. I'm just going to keep it very real, keep it 100. That's your problem. I'm very, very busy, I should say too busy, learning a way to level up in not only my craft as a hip-hop artist, but also my business mind. Because this game called hip-hop in the music industry is 10% talent and 90% business. If you don't understand that part, you're gonna end up stuck. Like, let's call a spade a spade. You're gonna be stuck. So you just have to be surrounding yourself with like-minded people that can get you into that point. And I did what I had to do with Clapback. I left it at that, and I kept it moving.
That's very interesting, because the pivotal point of an MC is to test his lyrics and stand his ground. How did making Clap Back make you a better MC?
Well, when I did Clap Back, it allowed me to get a lot of that raw emotion off of my chest. That was number one. Because if you listen to Clap Back, it's a very raw and gritty song. So I had to get a lot of that raw emotion off my chest. But as far as that is concerned, with your question, it made me a better MC, because as a hip hop artist, as you said, You want to be able to stand your ground and step up to the plate when you're challenged. See, back in the day, if you couldn't do that, there was no way that you could ever find yourself breaking into the game, no matter what type of song you wrote or recorded. Simply because you didn't have the wherewithal to be able to stand your ground and, more importantly, be able to back up your claims of how good you felt that you were. I mean, some of the best rappers in the history of hip-hop have had to deal with that before. So, and I felt that when I did Clapback, a lot of the things that I had to say on the song were things that I probably wouldn't have said as another MC. I probably wouldn't have said most of those things if I would just decided I wasn't going to respond. But again, the raw emotion I had allowed me to get a lot of the things I needed to get said in the way that I said them. And I think more importantly than just what I said and the way I said it, but the fact that I originally wrote Clapback as a song I was just going to do for promotion, just because I wanted to get it out. But then when I literally recorded the hook to the song first, heard the hook back without it being fully mixed and mastered, and said, "Nah, I got to do more with this." So I did, and I put it on, and I put the song on my project called the Be About It EP. And to be honest, it was probably a lot of people who listen to that project, that was one of the songs they really, really liked. Now, I won't lie, that whole project did really well. I had Clapback, a song called Insomniac, and a song called What I'm On. All three of those songs on that project eclipsed 150,000, over 150,000 streams on Spotify. All three of those songs.
But you know why that happened? In my opinion, you came out with an album before that called Devoted. On Devoted, it sounded like you were spreading your wings to show that you can rhyme. Right. But on the Be About It, you had more focus to structure that not only do you rhyme, but you're very proficient at it. Right. Since you brought it up, let's talk about the song Be About It. Matter of fact, let's not talk about the song Be About It. Let's go into the project itself. Okay. The Scotty Mac album cover of the Be About It EP is in 3D with you pointing at the buyer or listener. What message did you want to send to them with that 3D cover before they heard your music?
Simple. I don't talk about it, I be about it. Because a lot of people, as a matter of fact, that after the very first, the intro to the song, which is called the album, which is called Mr. Mac's Classroom. Mm-hmm. I'm actually a school teacher, so I actually had a student of mine come in and help me record that. So that was actually pretty cool, not gonna lie. Nice. But what was great about that was with the cover, I'm always somebody. If you ask anybody, I've always been someone that believed that simple but bold is the best statement you can make. It may be simple, but you want it to be bold. You want it to be something that, although it seems like it's a very simple and small thing, it makes a bold statement. So when I got that cover design, I picked that picture for a reason, because I'm pointing. And the fact that I'm pointing was what made that so poignant, because I'm pointing at you. I'm saying I'm not just talking about it. I'm being about my business, being about who I am, and I'm letting you know that when you listen to this album, you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. So I picked that picture specifically for that reason. It's interesting that you brought that up, because nobody's ever asked me about that. So
welcome to Heritage Hip Hop.
Hey, my man, I appreciate that, my man. Nobody's ever really asked me about that, man. So, so you know, I wanted people to know that I was making a very bold statement there, that I'm not just talking about it, I'm being about it. And then after I did Mr. Mac's Classroom, the very first full track was the song Be About It. And that was intentional. Okay. That was intentional. I did that because right at the end of the intro, I said, "Don't just talk about it; you got to be about it." And and then the point was, when I said that, I wanted the song to convey the message of why I don't talk about it, I be about it. So,
I like that.
And that was intentional.
I like that, man, because I got a confession to make. All right?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. When I first heard you, I knew there was something going on. And you telling me about your lack of hearing made it perfectly clear. Because, like, whenever I listen to an MC or I listen to music or anything, the beat is not always the first thing I hear. I listen for the spirit of the song first. Which sounds funny to a lot of people. Let me explain. If you don't have a good beat or the beat's full of air, it has ghost in it. That's why I say spirit. So
Right.
ghosting in hip-hop comes around a lot, and I get turned off a lot because it gets giving me headaches, right? But I heard some of the beats, and I was like, okay, this is a little unorthodox. This is a different sound. Okay. Then when I heard you talk, I said, aha, there's something going on here in his speech. Okay. When I heard the speech, then I heard how it blended with the music, I said, okay, he kind of found his sound. Because you have a video with a young lady on the couch with you.
My fiance.
Shout out to the fiance. Shout you out. We gonna make sure we shout out the fiancés and the moms and everybody. All right,
you got that right.
So there's a video with you with her, and you're clapping it up, and you're talking about your devotion. You're talking about your commitment to not only her in the video, but the game and your rhyme style.
Right.
I could tell that when you rhyme, you're cognizant of not making music. You're cognizant of the message in your music. What is the story of Scotty Mac? Like, why is he doing this? We know you can, but what is the mission of his music?
The mission of Scotty Mac's music is very simple. I want everyone to know that just because I have a speech impediment, I was born half deaf, that does not necessarily mean that my dream is unattainable. So I want people to be inspired by my story, because I've heard a lot of people, they understand and hear I have a speech impediment. But what they love is the fact that I have so much confidence in what I'm doing that half the time, all of the time when I'm recording and doing music, I know it's there, but I rhyme like I don't even care that it's there. I literally just say, I know I have it, but that's not stopping me. This is something I've been grinding for since I was 15 years old. I'm 33 years old now. Thank you. Why on earth would I sit here and say that I can't do something because my speech is impeded or because, I was born half deaf? I would be doing my students that I've been teaching for the last 5 years. I'd be doing my students a disservice, because all I ever try to teach them outside of the content I teach them is you can do anything if you put your mind to it. I would be doing them a complete disservice if I didn't do the same thing I've been trying to teach them to do. Period. So I'm not doing that to my students. I'm not doing that to them. And my students know that I rap, and they go home and tell their parents I'm a famous rapper, and I let them have that. That's fine. I'm still grinding. So, but it's great to know that. But more importantly, like I said, I want my students to know that you can do anything. There is nothing that you can't do if you don't work. If you work at it, and you really put your mind and heart and soul into it, you can do anything. If it means having the best jump shot, if it means being the best wide receiver, if it means being like the best quarterback where you can make Patrick Mahomes money, shout out to Patrick Mahomes on his $450 million contract extension, by the way. Congratulations.
Okay.
Had to throw that in there because that he's one of ours. That's a black quarterback. He's one of ours. He's one of the best to play in the game, right? If I had to shout out, but more importantly, I just want to if you had to just sit there and say, I want to do this, but if you have to say but after that, you need to think about taking that but out of your vocabulary. Period.
Facts. Let me ask you, what age do you teach?
I teach middle school grades 5 through 8.
Okay, because I'm a teacher as well, and I have a point to make when I'm in the classroom to every parent that comes in. I say every child has a right to learn, and every child has a right to be taught. Those are two different things that a lot of people don't think about, is teaching and learning. Since you've been an MC, what did you teach to your listener, and what did you learn from your audience?
What I taught my listeners is that I'm unafraid. I have no fear in my heart and in my soul of what I am doing because of the things that should, quote unquote, hinder me from being great. My speech impediment, my hearing disability, I'm unafraid of failure. Because let's just stop playing. If you are afraid to fail, you are doomed to fail. I've made plenty of mistakes in my past when it came down to what I was doing as an MC. I've made a lot of mistakes, but you know what? Those mistakes made me better. I learned from those things. So I want to teach my listeners and my fans that there is nothing that I am afraid of when it comes down to this. I'm willing to do what it takes to be great. Now, what I've learned from my listeners is that my listeners not only believe in what I'm doing just because they listen to my music, but they motivate me to not only continue what I do, but be better at what I do every single day. And I've had moments where I literally, I kid you not, I literally just was on my Facebook page, and about 2 or 3 years ago, I was on the verge of just saying, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I was very close to just telling myself, this is not worth it. And I had to take that step back and figure out what was happening. And what ended up happening with me is that I had a lot of people tell me there is no way that we, as your listeners and as your fans, are going to allow you to think that you can just take the easy way out. Why? Because you work too damn hard to get to where you are at this point. Right. We're not gonna allow you to just take the easy way out and just say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. So you've worked way too damn hard. So we're not letting, and I think that's the biggest thing I learned from my listeners is that my listeners have given me the confidence to say, and continue to give me the confidence to say, I can continue to do this no matter what. And I've learned from them that quitting is not an option.
I love that. Shout out to your listeners. That's dope. That means that you really have a core audience that loves and cares for not only your sound, but for you as a person.
Yes.
So shout out to them. But see, that's another thing about hip hop that's really, really interesting is that you know when people mess with you, when they really, really get behind you. And you have a partner, the Kid J, and y'all have a project together.
Yes, we
right?
do.
How did that come together? And what is it like working with an MC that believes in you to the point where y'all want to do a project together?
Oh man. So man, you just killing me right now, man. I love doing this. I love this because you know what? This is a project that it's funny. The Kid J and I just recently on my Instagram Live about a week or so ago, we actually did a review for all of us for on my Instagram Live of the project. We put the project out last July, so the project and just letting y'all know there'll be something new. There could be something new rather coming for that real soon from the Kid J and I. So be on the lookout for that. But when it came down to it, what happened was back in 2016, Jay and I, the Kid J and I, were both releasing solo projects in the same month. Nice. So within about a week and a half or so of each other. So Jay, in 2016, was releasing a project called A Small Thing to a Giant. And I was releasing a project called the Get to Know Me EP. So we decided not only were we going to collaborate on a party, because what we did was we did a double album release party to celebrate both of our projects.
Mm-hmm.
And that night, him and I, we sat down about a couple of weeks before the party, and we came up with an idea to do a track. Him and I were going to do a track together that was going to end the night. So we did a track together. The track was called On Your Mark. And we did that song together that was specific for that night. So we were performing, people loved it. I put it on my SoundCloud for a little while. Then Jay and I got to talking, and we said we loved working together and collaborating on the party and the song. I called Jay up and I said, "Yo, Jay, how would you feel about putting together an entire project with just the two of us?" And Jay didn't hesitate. He said, "Let's do it." So over the next 3 years, from 2017 until 2016 to 2019, Jay and I put together an idea for a project, and we recorded songs for this project. Now, mind you, it took us 3 years to do it because Jay dropped a couple of things on the in-between. I dropped my album Devoted in 2017. Jay dropped a couple of singles in a project in 2018. And I was doing a bunch of stuff, solo and him, but we always came back together and talked about our project, and we did it. And we came up with this idea for the project that we wanted to have a project that just did not sound like your typical collaborative project.
Nice.
And the one thing I loved about Jay is that he is one of the best writers as far as bars and lyrics are concerned. And what I loved about working with him is that Jay challenged me lyrically. Like
nice.
When he spit something, I kid you not, my man, when he did something, he recorded it, I literally had to say, you know what? Let me not spit what I wrote right now, because I have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how I'm going to match, if not sound better than you just did. So he challenged me lyrically on this entire project, and I got to say, this was probably, as far as lyrics are concerned, my best work. It was my best work, and I can't thank the kid Jay enough for being so open, and more importantly, he was just so easy to work with. He was incredibly easy to work with, because there was nothing that I said or nothing that he said that we disagreed on.
Okay.
But more importantly, we didn't just become a bunch of yes men. If we felt something could have been done better, we made that happen. We didn't just decide to put out a collaborative project because we wanted to. We wanted it to be something that was incredibly, incredibly dope. One of the reasons, that's one of the biggest reasons why it took 3 years to drop the project. Because other than just having our own things going on, we weren't going to put out a collaborative project that we weren't proud of. And shout out to the kid Jay again, man, for being such an amazing partner on this project. It's amazing. If you haven't heard it, the project is called Destination Everywhere, and it's available everywhere, man. So check it out.
And you'll know it from that orange cover. That cover stands out.
Yes, yes. Jay and I are both big video game fans. So when we created the cover, it was almost like one of those classic covers for Super Nintendo.
Duck Hunt. It looked like Duck Hunt.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I saw it, and I was like, this is Duck Hunt. This is Nintendo.
Right.
Now, see, that's dope, because now you're incorporating everything into your life, into your creation. And one more question I want to ask you before we start breaking down is, Stigmata Productions is who does your sound.
Yes.
And there's something very deep I want to ask you about. I can't ask you about the name. I'd rather ask them, because we know the stigmata is when blood comes from somebody's body from a holy exorcism or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you go through a stigmata, you get an enlightenment to change your life or change your perspective on life. How did Stigmata Productions change your way of listening and hearing music to produce music?
The best thing that ever happened to my career was meeting Stigmata, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when I first started getting my name out there performing and doing things based off the mixtape I did, a lot of the people that I did shows with and showcases and met, they all went to him to get their music done. And when I heard the stuff that he did, I was like, I want to work with this guy. But I wasn't just going to walk up to the man and say, hey, I want to work with you. I had to give him something, show him some type of work ethic that I had to just walk into his studio. And eventually, when I got a chance to talk to him, not only was he incredibly down to earth, but he's incredibly knowledgeable of music. And his engineering skills are top notch. Like I can go into his studio, and this man is incredible. The first time I went in the studio, I didn't even record anything. I just sat in the studio for 3 hours and watched him work with some of the people I knew. And I said, I have to work with this guy. And 2 weeks after being in that studio, watching him work, I was in the studio recording, and he has been my main mix master engineer. He's been my main audio engineer for the last 5 years. I almost, like, the album Devoted was completely produced, mixed, and mastered by him. And then all of my music over the past 4.5, 5 years has been, except for the first mixtape I put out, which for this moment I still can't remember where I have it. But I know every song from 2015 on that I put out professionally was done by him. He did all the mix, master, and engineer thing. So shout out to Stigmata. He really had a big impact on my career and my life because he's been in the industry for a very long time, and he's someone that does everything so well, but he takes everything with a grain of salt, but more importantly, he's extremely humble about what he does. And he taught me what it meant to be humble. He's given me a lot about being humble, but staying hungry. And that's how he's enlightened my life and my career as an MC. Because it's great to say that you have those like-minded people around you, because those are the type of people that are always going to be honest with you, but they're always honest with you because they want to see you win. So, and anything that comes out that man's studio is incredible. So shout out to my man Stigmata for being the man that he is.
And with that being said, everybody, we want Scotty Mac to drop his social media, and then we're going to finish out our interview with our questions. Our final questions. So go ahead, drop your social media so everybody knows where to contact you and get your music.
All right. So you can catch me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at Mr. Mac040. That's at MRMAC040 on Instagram. You can catch me on both Facebook and Twitter at Scotty Mac40. That's SCOTTYMAC40 on both Twitter and on Facebook. And those are my main pieces of social media. If you want to talk any business, you can also email me at ScottyMacENT@gmail.com. You can also contact my management, and his email is roguesp.drr@gmail.com. Shout out to my manager and my business partner, Rogues P, for being amazing as well. But that's where y'all can catch me at, man.
All right, everybody out there that's listening, this is Karev, and you already know what I'm about to say. Go stream the music. Streaming is good, but it would be better to purchase the music. Streaming is good if you just want to check them out. But if Scotty Mac has music that you really like, we ask of you to please purchase the music, because not only are you showing into his talent, you're also ensuring yourself more music to come. And the bottom line is we have to believe in our artists by financially supporting them and not just streaming. We always spend $1 on a scratch off or something to drink. Take the 99 cents to buy a single, and if you want to hear the whole project, please spend the $7, $8, $9, or $10 that it is to support the movement and ensure that they stick around and they give us more music that you love. All right. So With that being said, Mr. Mac, it's time for the rapid fire questions, which are not yes, no questions. See, my main interview talk is you telling your story, but the second part of the interview shows everybody your depth and what you know and what you love about not only the art, but of yourself. Are you ready to go?
Let's go.
Okay. I specifically didn't talk about your single out right now for this part of the interview. All right, so I didn't forget. All right, so here we go. The first question is, what song or album perfectly describes your life? And it has to be music that you did not create. It has to come from another artist.
Oh, okay. This is pretty easy for me. Illmatic by Nas. Easily.
And why Illmatic? What made Illmatic define you?
The poetic justice that album does, and more importantly, just the incredible art that was thrown into every song and the amount of care that was thrown into not only the production but the lyrics, and then how it just seems to be a reflection of Nas's life is something I don't take for granted, because that's something, as I said earlier, is something I try to convey in a lot of my music. So just talking about being inspiring, but more importantly, making sure that you understand that I can also put a few incredible bars together. And Nas had some really interesting bars on there. And you know what? He's definitely ill, and Illmatic is easily something I would put in that without question.
Now, understanding that's where you come from, let's talk about who you are. The Get to Know Me SCOTTY song is the new single out right now. That Illmatic talked about your life. What are you giving to the public when it comes to your life and your new music?
With my new music, my song, Get to Know Me, funny story about how that came about. That actually was one of the first songs I recorded with Stigmata, and that was back in 2015. I recorded that song back in 2015. Now, everybody's sitting there wondering, that song is crazy hot. Why'd you wait so long? I'll get to that in a minute. But when it comes down to the song is called Get to Know Me. The reason why I love that, because if you remember the song Represent on Illmatic. If you remember the song Represent, you heard represent, hey, represent. So I modeled the hook to the song kind of like that, but I said to myself, if I'm going to put a song out like that, I'm going to have to say my name somewhere in here. So I got on there, and then when I heard the beat, I literally put the beat on loop, and I'm just listening to it. And I said, let me stop for a second. Let's see if I can throw it. So I said to myself, SCOTTY Mac, SCOTTY Mac, and it fit. So I said, let me write a pre-chorus. So I wrote a pre-chorus. Then I wrote the regular chorus, went back, and I said, oh, this is crazy. So then I said, I'm going to call the song Get to Know Me. And why I called it Get to Know Me is because the song, as I like to say when somebody asks me about it, the song is an introduction of who I am to the people that don't know me, and a reintroduction for the people who do. So, so if you don't know me, listen to Get to Know Me, and it'll tell you a little bit about me. If you do know me, but you think you might have forgotten, go listen to the song, it'll tell you about me. So I decided that, I didn't put it out properly, or because one, I didn't really know what that was about. That's number one. I didn't know what to do with that. And number two, the timing just was not right for that song to hit the masses yet. So I wanted to wait. Now, 5 years is a long time to wait, but I ended up putting it out, and everybody got a chance to hear it. Now, no lie, I've actually been performing this song for the same amount of time since I recorded it. I've performed this song all over the country. I've performed it everywhere. So, but at any time that people have seen me perform, they'll say, we love all your music, but that one song is the song that everybody remembers. And that's why whenever I've gone places and people see me, they go, yo, SCOTTY Mac. Yep. And I go, yep, that's me. That's me. And that makes me feel real good. It's like something that I did on that stage resonated with you to remember that. So that's why I ended up putting a song out on my birthday this year because I sat there with my management and everybody and we said, it's time for you to put this out. So crazy enough, I put it out during the middle of a global health pandemic, but you know what? It was a good time for me to put it out because everybody was home listening to music. So, and finding new music to listen to. So, I know I had a lot of people kept asking me, when you got new music coming out? When do you have new music coming out? When do you have new music coming out? And I said, man, okay, now it's time for me to do it. So Get to Know Me, the new single, available everywhere, y'all.
That's right. All right, so here we go. The next question I want to ask you is, what is the song that has the most meaning to you that actually changed your life?
Oh, wow. There's a lot that I could say there, but if I had to pick one song in particular, I would have to say it was probably One Mic by Nas.
Okay. I don't even want to cut you off right there. One Mic is very introspective. That's about a man coming to his center. How did it affect you and bring you to your center?
It allowed me to understand that was when I heard that from me. Because, I was somebody at the time when the song came out that was still struggling trying to understand his disability, and I was getting made fun of for it. I was bullied for it. And I didn't really know how to come to my center at that age. But when I got older and I started to really embrace who I was as a young man, I would go back and listen to One Mic because now I was starting to understand the message behind the song. A young man coming to his center. When I really started to hone in more on that and I started to really feel how that song was going to affect me, it was after I graduated from college and I decided at 22 years old I wanted to take my career more serious as an MC. So I went back and listened to One Mic, and that was that day I listened to that song, I wanted to take my career more serious. I listened to One Mic and I said, I got it. It's time for me to stop kidding myself and realize that I've now reached my center. I've now reached where I need to be in my own mind, in my own frame of mind, I should say, because now I have a lot more confidence to take this on. And I had to ground myself and motivate myself to get there first. And I want everybody to understand that sometimes what it's going to take in anything you do in life is anybody can motivate you, but if you need to find something or someone that will motivate you and latch on to that. Because there's going to be a lot of things that keep you from doing the things that you want to do, including people that tell you shouldn't. I've been told that. But I said to myself, I'm not going to allow what everybody else has to say to stop me. One Mic brought me there. So One Mic is definitely my track.
So then how centered were you when you made the song Blood, Sweat, and Tears?
That was another angry track for me. But that was another angry track for me because it's again another raw and gritty song. But if you want to talk about how centered I was when I did it, when I made that song, I was centered because my whole thing was when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into something that you want so badly. You have to be centered to do that. You can't just think you put your blood. You can't just put your blood, sweat, and tears into something, but your mind, body, and soul isn't centered into it. You have to bring your whole self to it if you're going to put your blood, sweat, and tears into something. So that's why. So I think that's probably the best answer I could give to that.
Great. See, we listen to the music, man. So here's the next question. The remix is one of the most pivotal parts of hip hop that has been forgotten. That seems to be coming back now, where people will take a song and add another beat to it, or add other people to the song to make a song, have a more shelf life, or it'll make it pop. I want to ask Scotty Mac, what is the greatest remix in hip hop history?
Oh, damn it. The greatest remix in hip hop history. Ooh, that's a good question. Whew. Oh, man. This one I have to really think about, because there's been incredible remixes in the history of hip hop. There have been so many incredible remixes. Oh, man. Wow. Woo. I mean, you could go in a lot of different eras.
Sure. But what's your answer?
Wow. Wow. You know what? This will probably get me. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say the rock remix of "All About the Benjamins."
Okay, that's a good one.
The reason why I say that is because the original "All About the Benjamins" had a lot, but when I had to give a lot of the it was very clever to add like that rock remix behind what everybody said. As a matter of fact, I remember hearing that one before I heard the original "All About the Benjamins." I remember that when I was younger, and then I went back because remember. But then again, everybody heard that one line with with Diddy in the song for "All About the Benjamins." Everybody heard that one line, and I was like, that was the one line I remembered. And then I heard the rock remix, and I went back and heard the rest of the whole song with Lil Kim and Lox and of course Biggie at the head. And I said, "Oh, this remix is crazy." To this day, if I want to really get myself kind of motivated when I'm working out, sometimes I put that on just so I could get myself kind of amped up. And this has happened. It's been dope. So I'll say that one. That's the one I can think off the top of my head.
That's a great answer. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, this is all your depth and your look on the music. So my question then is, see, you've done tracks with other artists like Alpha Male, Arson. You did tracks with the Kid J, right? And in hip-hop, the feature artist always comes around. I think people do it too much. I can't stand an album where I buy an album listening to you and it's like every song is somebody else and you want 3 songs by yourself. I hate that. But being able to be a feature artist or have feature artists means you bring something special to the track. But sometimes the feature artist can outshine the main artist on the track. So my question to you is, who is the best feature artist / who had the best guest 16 in hip-hop history to you?
Ooh. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to say this, and this might be a little bit of an unpopular answer, but one of the best featured artists I'm going to say was on the song Forever when Eminem was on there. I'm saying that one. I'm going to tell you why I say that. Because for a long time, we didn't hear jack from Eminem. For a lot of reasons, Eminem was dealing with addiction and all kind of stuff. So we didn't hear anything. And then here comes this young man named Drake, who is essentially looking to take the whole game over. And he's on Young Money, so of course he just took the song out Forever. He's got Kanye West on there. He's got Lil Wayne. And then out of nowhere, here comes Eminem. And everyone was like, wait a minute, where did he come from? Like, where did he come from? And all of a sudden, when he comes out, it's like, that was one of the best verses I had heard from him in God knows how long. And it was crazy because I'm like, at first I was sitting there going, I had to sit there because I didn't even see the video for the song yet. I said, time out. Is that Eminem? So I said, rewind. I went back to where I heard the song. I said, let me go back and play the song again. So I played the song again and I was like, yo, that's Eminem. And it was like, why do I say that verse was so dope for him? I said that verse was so incredibly dope for him because when he jumped on that track for the feature 16, it was like he was reminding everybody, hey, my name's Marshall, and I can y'all. So, I have to give that one to Eminem just because it was like kind of like what I did with Get to Know Me. It was like his reintroduction. like I'm back now, especially because, you know, he was dealing with the death of proof and all of that. So, and I really have to give Eminem a lot of credit for that one. There were so many things I could say, but that one's the one I had to pick.
Love it. So then my next question to you then goes to this aspect of hip hop. The part of being an artist is to get everybody to appreciate your creation. If you could create your perfect track, who would do the beat and who would feature on it? And look, dead or alive, no restrictions.
Okay, glad to hear that. So I would, my producer for the beat would have to be Jay Dilla.
Ooh, okay.
I'll pick Jay Dilla. And the featured artist on the track, I would have to say Tupac.
Pop, Scotty Mac, and Jay Dilla.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds interesting. So then my next question would be, in today's climate, we're looking at the belief of Black Lives Matter versus the lie of the Black Lives Matter. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, which comes down to police brutality. We see economic disparity right now in the world with a lot of people on unemployment, racism, classism, patriotism, and everything at an all-time high. My question to you is, what is the MC's responsibility in hip-hop where not only do they represent the culture, but they speak to the culture in today's times?
The MC's responsibility is not only to just speak, but join in on finding ways to combat these things that you are talking about. The hip hop community and the community of the MC is something that is without doubt that you cannot, as an MC, just turn a blind eye to this. The hip hop community has always been something. This is something that a lot of people forget. Everybody talks about all the elements of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
The one element of hip hop that a lot of people seem to conveniently forget is knowledge.
Okay.
We are literally watching a time in the world where knowledge of self and knowledge of what's going on in the world is so much more paramount than ever before. So as an MC, we have a responsibility with our gift, with our talent, with our knowledge of what's happening to bring this to the limelight in only the ways that we know how.
Yep.
So because everybody's going to have their own way. Now here's the difference. Everybody can't go out there and rap. But if you have that gift that God gave you, use it. I mean, we've seen the likes of so many people go out there and stand up there. We've seen J. Cole at protest. We've seen Kendrick Lamar at protest. I've seen rappers like Casanova Casanova 2X from Brooklyn out there protesting. We have a voice. We need to use our voice, and we need to use our celebrity to bring again that element of hip hop that a lot of people seem to lose, and that's knowledge. We need to bring that knowledge to the streets. We need to because eventually we need to use this gift to attack racism, police. I mean, we've seen that in the past. NWA is one of the best examples of it. Ice-T, one of the best examples. I'm not telling you anybody to go out there and kill cops. For God, please God, we don't need to see more violence right now. It's bad enough that we're being killed all the time. But what I am saying is we have a responsibility as the hip-hop community to speak on this in a way that nobody else can. We have so many different ways of expression. And we have rapping, we have DJing, we have dancing, we have graffiti, and we have knowledge. And that's what I love about being an educator. Being a teacher, it means I have more than one way. I can speak on it being a rapper, but you know, especially after what happened with George Floyd, a lot of my sixth graders were so upset because they have never experienced anything like this. Me being a teacher and over 30 years old, I have. I've experienced racial profiling. I've experienced, you know, watching being, you know, profiled by police officers because of the color of my skin. I've seen violence on black people being, you know, violated by police brutality. I've seen it all. I've seen people die from it. It's unfortunate, but the fact is, being in the hip hop community, I'm gonna say it again. I know I'm repeating myself, but I need to make sure y'all understand what I'm saying. We in the hip hop community have a responsibility to this, and we need to use our gifts. Use it in any way, shape, or form.
That's right. Now, with that being said, everybody, once again, this is Karev, and we're on the line with Scotty Mac. Make sure you go check him out on all streaming media, and if there's music that you love, please purchase. Streaming is good, but purchasing is power, and show your power by supporting our culture, our art, our music, and our artists. So this kind of sounds like going to be like an answer that you answered before, but I have to ask this question because this is the most important question I ask when every first interview of anybody who comes on Heritage Hip Hop, which means you always have an open door to come back, especially when you have any projects coming out or anything that you want to talk about, all right?
No doubt. No doubt.
And the most important thing I'm going to ask you is about this. One day you're not going to be on the earth anymore, and we pray that that does not happen anytime soon, especially in the time of COVID. And in this climate, we don't wish that on anybody. So may the Most High bless you, and may you have an abundant life, especially for you and your fiance. May it be abundant for you both, okay?
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
But in 1,000 years, there's going to be an earthquake in Long Island. Water going to rush in. Water's going to wash away all the chaos. And your student, 3 generations or whatever, farther down the line, they're going to walk past this hole. And in this hole, they're going to see something shine because a rock is going to move. My story's going somewhere. Be patient.
No problem.
And in that hole, they find a weird contraption. You want to know what that contraption is called? You want to know what it is? It's called a laptop. Because they don't use those in the future. And then they're going to open this laptop, and they're going to be introduced to your music for the first time. My most important question to you is, what is the legacy that you left in the world that made it better because you did music?
Yes, thank you for asking this question. Because what's interesting about it, I was just having a conversation with someone recently about my music, about my career, and they asked me, what do you want to do with this at the end, other than what I'm already doing? And I said, I'm not trying to just make a mark. I'm trying to leave a legacy. I am trying to do something that when I'm gone, like you said, not anytime soon, but when when I get called home, I want my children and and my grandchildren and their children from generations to come to know that there was something more. I did something more than just rap. I left something behind with it. And what I want my legacy to be is this legacy of never giving up and always looking to persevere. I want to leave a legacy of perseverance and professionalism behind. I don't want to just be somebody that, just did music and, I just did it and logged in a completely huge catalog of music over the time I was an MC. But I want there to be a message of perseverance. I want them to understand my story. I want them to know that there's a message behind everything that I say, regardless of the emotion. I want them to know that this is something that you can do too. Because I was told I couldn't, and more importantly, I was told I shouldn't because I was disability and because I have an impediment in my speech. But I persevered, and I told myself, and I told everybody else, just because these things exist in me doesn't mean that I'm disabled from doing. And that's the legacy I want to leave.
So with that, everybody, we're leaving the message that if you want to, you can. And if you believe that you can, you will. Don't ever doubt yourself. Let the world doubt themselves, but you have to believe in you. Because through your belief, not only can you inspire those close to you, but you can touch the ears and the life of those that you will never see, and they'll thank you for being the example of what they are, what they can become, and who else they can inspire from your example. And with that being said, this is Karev with Scotty Mac on Heritage Hip Hop. Everybody, we say peace, and we out.
Peace, y'all. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. Scotty Mac teaches us very important lessons in his music. Not only did he overcome a physical disability of deafness in his ear, he taught himself that he can. And belief in yourself, belief in oneself is going to determine who you are and what you will be when it comes to life. Because no matter what people say or what people think, your belief in yourself, your connection with the higher power that fortifies that belief in yourself will prove to you that if you think you can, you will. And if you believe that you will do. And believing and doing is two different things, because you put the mental power to the physical attributes, and beautiful things are made from it. So salute to Scotty Mac for not doubting himself and giving the world music and his truth, and a truth of belief, the power of belief, and moving forward in life no matter what life gives you. This episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast was brought to you by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy and credit repair world. Open your wallet to receive money and not to pay off debt. To clear debt, you may want to fix your credit. And to do such, you can contact Transparent Credit Repair at www.transparentcreditrepair.com. And you can call them at 862-250-5122. Tell them Heritage Hip Hop sent you, and look for the surprise to come with it. Once again, we thank you for supporting Heritage Hip Hop, and we ask that you continue to support us by visiting our website, www.heritagehiphop.com, to see all that we highlight when it comes to hip hop. And in August, we have our Heritage Hip Hop Awards coming. So please stay tuned to see who wins the award for Project of the Year, our Govmatic Award for pushing the hip hop culture forward, and maybe a surprise will come as well. But we need you to pay attention. So please, join us at www.heritagehiphop.com for more. Also, we have a lot of videos that have come out. And if you want to see some of our past interviews with like Tretch, Do It All, or our past podcast interviews with Crime Faces, Billy Dange, Yo-Yo, a hip hop legend, you can go to our YouTube page and look at our playlist and pick an artist that interests you and see what we have to offer. We are dedicated to this hip hop culture and to the Most High God that lives within you that created hip hop. If you'd like to donate to Heritage Hip Hop, we have a Cash App and donate button on the website. Every dollar that you give builds this platform. And if you want to build run some apparel to help us build the platform, you want to wear a shirt, get a hoodie or something, you could go to www.storefrontier.com/heritage hip hop and look at many of the things we have to offer. On the website, we also highlight other stores such as New Jersey Black Print, and we have more to come. I got to give a shout out to the people who helped make this possible. Shout out to Faddy's Place, FADDYSPLACE on Instagram, who help us with our social media. And if you're looking for a virtual media assistant to help make your social media pop, contact Faddy's Place. I'd like to give a shout out to Fire Jaws, FIREJAWS. He is a proficient MC on the mic, and he also does marketing, promotion, and placement. He runs Wildfire Marketing. If you'd like to talk to him about getting your art or getting your product placed, promoted, and put at a valued place in the stratosphere, please contact him on Instagram at FIREJAWS. Shout out to Lex Diamonds of Diamonds Entertainment LLC, DIEMENZ Entertainment LLC, and Adayar, AHDAYAR, on YouTube, who have their own shows coming very soon. Adayar has the Big A Show, which is called Podcasting with Friends, where we talk about everything going on in the world, be it entertainment, sports, politics, and some wild stuff as well. So if you want to see season 1 of the show, go to his YouTube page, AHDAYAR, and season 2 is coming soon. Once again, I thank you for listening to Heritage Hip Hop's podcast. This is Karev, and I enjoy talking and sitting and learning with you. And with that being said, we say peace, and we out.